And right off the bat, let's go to my first guest for the first 60 minutes. Always a thrill, always a pleasure. Talks international editor Isabel Oakeshott. Hi, Iz.
I think I might have to call Dr. Renee because I'm not feeling very well after that list of stories. It's really got my blood boiling.
Exactly right. Well, as I say, she is here to help. 03444991000. The surgery is open in an hour. Now, we need to regroup about that story that you alerted me to last night. Excellent or scandalous story, the two-tier justice that is now essentially enshrined by our Sentencing Council. They committed it to print. As I said last night, I reckon they're so used to unofficially dispensing two-tier justice that they forgot that they're not supposed to actually tell us, and they made the mistake of committing it to print. But before we get to that, if you don't mind, I want to just talk about a couple of issues. The first is, as I mentioned in my monologue, always we have to talk about this. Another 210 migrants crossed the channel illegally yesterday. That brings the total since Saturday, only since Saturday, to 1,378. On Sunday, a record for the year in a single day, 592 came across. And still they come, and still they come. And what is Keir Starmer, what is Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, what are they doing about it? Nothing. This is a disgrace.
It is a complete disgrace. This is a mass industry now, and there are so many businesses and unscrupulous people in our own country who are feeding off it. You know, it's now a huge business providing accommodation for all these migrants. There are property agents who go around scouting out buildings that might be suitable to house migrants. As we know, lots of hotels that would otherwise perhaps not be making a lot of money, particularly in low season, are filling their boots with taxpayers' money for accommodating these people. So much so that some of them basically no longer really fit the definition of being a hotel. They're basically hostels. And swathes of our country seem to be turning into a giant refugee camp. And this is just expanding on a daily basis. And while Keir Starmer is busy globetrotting, prancing around on the international stage, our own country is effectively being invaded. Now, some of those people who come over may wish us well, maybe, but some of them almost certainly don't wish us well. And the majority of them, we know, are not truly escaping war and terror, not least because they've come from France. They have their eye on some form of better life here in the UK. And the question is, what are they going to do to contribute to our society? Answer, most of them have very few skills that are of any use to us whatsoever that we couldn't provide from our own population.
Exactly right. And all we get from this government is we're going to smash the gangs, the people smuggling gangs. Well, first, they haven't smashed any people smuggling gangs at all, not a single one, since they came into power in July the 5th, last July the 5th. And secondly, that's not the way to do it. You've got to stop the migrants and you've got to stop the boats. It's as simple as that. And I want to hear from the audience. What do you think about the fact that this just keeps going on? It is the undercurrent of every day. And now that the weather is getting better, we had a lovely week this week. Trust me, this is going to be an avalanche of people pouring across the channel. And I think we're going to break all records this year. So give me a ring about that, folks. 03444991000. Now, another story that I want to get your comment, and we've been covering this at some length, but your input would be valued, Isabel. It is this. Well, first up, there's the Speaker of the House, who we now call Long Haul Hoyle, who outrageously, in my view, over 2 years has spent £250,000, £250,000 of taxpayers' money, spanning the globe, globe-trotting, jet-setting, staying at flash hotels for as much as £900 a night, racking up massive restaurant bills in in Los Angeles in Australia. He spent thousands of pounds on chauffeur-driven limousines. When he went to Montserrat in the Caribbean, he even chartered a private jet. He went to the Cayman Islands, spent £25,000 in just a few days. He went to South Africa and St Helena, racked up £21,000 in first class and business class flights, always first and business class. This is the Speaker of the House. That's a disgrace. As I said last night, I used this phrase. He is taking the piss. And this government is taking the piss. In the first 3 months, of this government, they spent more than £2 million, the cabinet, more than £2 million on private jets. David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, alone in 3 months spent £851,000 on private jets. By the way, I should remind you, these are socialists. Now, here's another a few statistics you're going to like about David Lammy, or rather you won't like. Significant spending has been unfolding since he took over the helm at the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, in other words, the Foreign Office, FCDO they call themselves. During the initial months of his tenure, notable expenditure includes luxury crystal glasses, 2,400 on Cumbria crystal glasses, where a set of 4 Grasmere wine glasses cost £500. £2,400 on crystal champagne glasses, and also, you're going to like this one, overall departmental spending at the Foreign Office between July and October, so income the Labour government in July. By October 2024, the FCDO's, the Foreign Office's expenses on restaurants and bars was added up to £521,527. So the best part of £522,000, more than £500,000 on restaurants and bars. This is an absolute scandal.
I mean, people absolutely hate this stuff, and quite rightly so, because those who are filling their boots in this way are doing it on the backs of ordinary, hard-working folk who are just trying to make ends meet and consider it a great treat if they can get out for a meal every few months. You know, it's not cheap eating out. We all know that. It's become an awful lot more expensive. And here you've got the spectacle of mandarins, pen pushers, anonymous, faceless civil servants living it up on the public purse. And I'm very disappointed to hear this about Lindsay Hoyle, because I think he's a fundamentally good guy. I think he's a good speaker, but that is taking the piss. I don't think that's putting it too strongly. I just don't think I could do that. I don't think I could sit in first class, and I've never sat in a first class cabin, knowing that it was being paid for by the taxpayer, and feel okay about that. You know, I do think that our senior political figures need to travel in some dignity. You know, I'm not suggesting that cabinet ministers should go on EasyJet or Ryanair and sit with everybody else. I think that's demeaning to the office that they hold. But I don't think it's necessary for any of them to go first class, the Prime Minister included. He can go business class in a separate section or whatever. First class is an obscenity on the public purse. It is totally unnecessary. And, you know, as for the private jet thing, you know, I've long thought that our country should have a prime ministerial plane, although frankly, the amount of time that Keir Starmer spends going all over the world, I'm not sure I'm going to hold that opinion anymore, because he would never ever be off it, would he?
No, exactly right. So, as I say, this is, you know, Lindsay Hoyle, I'm sure he's a good speaker and all that, although I've sensed now and again he tends to favour Labour a bit because he's a Labour MP. But that notwithstanding, he sits there going, order, order. And he will tell us these are very important fact-finding trips that he goes on. But he never goes to places like Belgium or Siberia. It's always the Caribbean or LA or Australia, places where the sun shines, places where there are lovely restaurants and lovely hotels. So I think we know what's going on here. And Mr. Hoyle, or Sir Lindsay, I should call you need to wind your neck in with this stuff. So does David Lammy at the Foreign Office. This expenditure is outrageous. £500,000 on restaurants and bars in what is that, 5 months? Come on, give me a break. Absolutely scandalous waste of
glasses.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, look, what are these people thinking of? I just don't get that. It is utterly indefensible.
Well, as one of the truisms of politics is beware of a socialist with an expense account, because they'll be in the Ritz and they'll be staying at the Ritz Hilton as soon as night follows day. We better go to break now, Isabel, and when we come back, we'll talk a bit about two-tier justice, that story we spoke about last night.